It is hard for me to say this, but Michael Bennet pulled out of this forum last minute. And so he will not be attending today. And in the interest of transparency and honesty, I am going to walk you through what happened. So months ago, our group extended an invitation to both Senator Bennet and Attorney General Phil Weiser to participate in this forum. Once the invitation had been sent, Senator Bennett's campaign made a series of demands, each of which we did our best to accommodate. They first said that Senator Bennet did not want to share a stage with the Attorney General. He wanted things to go in succession where he would come first, he would then get off, and then the Attorney General would come. Now that is not what we had in mind, that's not how we wanted to do things, but we agreed. Because most importantly, we wanted to have him come to the table. Then his team asked for questions in advance. And we said we would give you topics, and we did. And then they said, well, the senator is worried about security. They said, we're hearing from people that you will have disruptors at your event, and we're questioning whether it's even worth it for the senator to come. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be direct. I am a civil rights attorney. I know what racially coded language sounds like. I know how it is dressed up. I know how it is delivered with a straight face and a plausible explanation, and I know it when I hear it. And the suggestion that a gathering of Muslims raises a security or safety concern is hugely problematic. Lots of places Senator Bennet goes to have protesters and disruptors. That doesn't mean it's a security risk. He shows up at those events all the time. So why is it that a Muslim event now is a security risk? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same language, the same framing, the same logic that has been used since 9/11 to justify surveilling and marginalizing Muslim communities. And it has no place coming from a man asking for our votes. But here's the thing. Despite the problematic framing of that concern, right, we still said, no problem. We'll get security. If that's what you're worried about, we'll have security. And then came the final demand. On Monday of this week, Senator Bennett's campaign informed us that they did not want us asking questions of Senator Bennet about his record on Gaza. We said no. The right to ask an elected official about his past record is not a bargaining chip. It is the entire point. But here's the thing. We still left the door open. We said, listen, we're happy to talk about framing. We're happy to work with you on the questions if that is what you want to do. We're willing to do all of that. And then at the last minute, his campaign said that he would not be attending because he did not think it was appropriate to have a conversation with our community about his record at this forum. His team said that Michael would be willing to meet behind closed doors with Muslim leadership, meaning that they are going to go from one masjid to another, anyone who let them in to sanitize their conduct, right? Divide and conquer. They're going to use this. We talked about this, divide and conquer. It's a real thing, my friends. And we've already known that they have reached out to some masjids. They've already done this. Ladies and gentlemen, elected officials do not get to cherry pick their accountability. They cast votes that affect people's lives. They take positions, they make decisions, and then in a democracy, they must go before the people those decisions affect and defend them. They don't get to decide which consequences of their record are too uncomfortable to discuss. So to Michael Bennet, if your record on Gaza is defensible, then defend it. Make the argument. Sit across from your constituents who disagree with you and make your case. That is what moral seriousness looks like. That is what leadership requires. And I want to be clear, Michael Bennett's record on Gaza is not a Muslim issue. It is not an Arab issue. It is a Colorado issue. It is an American citizen taxpayer issue. %77% of Democrats do not want their tax dollars sent to another country to commit a genocide. The $17 billion of weapons that Senator Bennet voted to send to Israel, all of that money doesn't belong to the Muslims, it belongs to the American people. And so when we ask him questions about his record, we're not asking them on behalf of our community, we are asking on behalf of every Coloradan who believes that the people we elect to office should be accountable to the people who sent them there, not to the donors who fund their campaigns. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize that we could not give our community a forum we had intended to. We made every effort to bring Senator Bennet to the table. We made concessions to the extent that we could. But we are not going to purchase his participation at the cost of our credibility. Our community deserves a conversation that is honest, not one that is managed. You deserve questions that are real, not ones that have been sanitized for a politician's comfort. Senator Bennet made a choice not to be here tonight. And that choice belongs to him, and Coloradans, including those of you here, should draw your own conclusions from it. And let's be honest, if Michael Bennet believed tonight that this community had the power to end his political career, he would be sitting in that chair right now. And so his absence tells you exactly what he thinks of us and how much power he thinks we have. And this is proof. We have never proven our ability to have power, to make electeds pay attention to us, and to know that we have the votes. My brothers and sisters, we are about to change that.